Hey guys, hope you're all doing well and enjoying your weekend so far. Today we're going to be taking a look at a couple of big patch notes that have just dropped for BF5. Some really good stuff in there in my opinion, and also I'll be giving you a little breakdown and some first impressions of the Operation Metro Remake remaster called Operation Underground, which is soon to be released for BF5. Unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to record the Operation Underground footage at EA Play, but I did get to play it for around like 35 to 45 minutes, so I've got a good idea of what the map is like, although at the moment it is very work in progress and it will probably change quite a lot before it's actually released. But I can tell you that the original level designer who made Operation Metro is making this map, and the whole thing kind of came around from just an idea that the guy had, and he was like, you know what, I want to give this a shot. And he started putting it together. They play tested it and they were like, right, we've just totally got to do this. So I'll give you guys an idea of the layout in just a second. As for these patch notes, well, AP mines. Now, if you watch any of my live commentary, you'll know that AP mines are the bane of my existence. And I just think that they promote such a horrible playstyle. You just get a couple of them, put them down next to a supply crate, put them down on some stairs, next to a door, bink, you trigger it, it triggers you, you're dead in one. And it's just frustrating. Yeah, you can shoot things if you spot them soon enough, but most of the time, if you trigger it and you don't keep running, you're a goner. Well, in the upcoming patch, AP mines have been changed a bit, let's say. So the main thing is that going forward, you'll find that only 2 AP mines can be placed at any one time per person, and you can't place them within 3.6 meters of each other. So you can't stack them on each other anymore to double the damage, and they will also be despawned if you die, provided that you're not revived. So a full bleed out of your character going back to the deploy screen will despawn the mines that you've put down. Now, the most interesting change about this though is the activation of them, and that's the fact that the explosion delay has been increased to 1 second. So before it was 0.7 seconds, and the explosion itself no longer occurs beneath the point of detonation. So that means that if you're quick enough, let's say you run into a building, you trigger AP mine, it flings up into the air, but if you react to that within 1 second and go prone, you won't take any damage because the damage is not applied underneath where the AP mine explodes anymore, if that makes sense. Now, I really like this change because it means that attentive, fast reacting players will be able to avoid these things. So hopefully they won't be as frustrating because you can counter them now, I suppose, in a way. And overall, they just won't be as frustrating, I guess. So if you want to use AP mines, I think they'll still be effective if you put them in the right positions. And there are other changes which will feature in next week's update that talk about increases to blast radius and increases in activation radius. And they say that AP mines are still dangerous, but you'll have a new opportunity to evade them completely if you're fast enough. That's cool. There's been a little change to the down state of players as well. So if you're one of these people who just likes to skip the down state and you just know that no medics are going to come for you, well, you can now do that much faster, and the time that you can bleed out has been reduced to 2.5 seconds. Now, overall, this won't affect your time to redeploy or spawn screen, but it will enable you to go to that state faster. And if you want to hold on for a medic, well, that's been increased from 21.33 seconds to 25.6 seconds. So you've got 4 seconds or so extra now to be revived. I like that change too. I think if you're a person that wants to hold out and just wait and see if a medic's around, then I'm all for that. They've also nerfed the one-shot kill of explosives, so to speak. And this means that the scenarios in which you'll encounter a one-shot kill from a grenade have been reduced. And they've added the ability to throw back grenades that have been fired from the rifle grenade launcher. They didn't really go into specifics about the one-shot kill for explosives either, but I think this probably applies to stuff like the Piat and the Panzerfaust, so maybe you've got to be really close to someone to hit them and explode them with a one-hit kill. I don't know, I'm just guessing there, and we'll have to wait for more detailed notes next week, but I'm all for reducing explosive spam. And they've also improved the hit detection on incendiary grenades to match what you see in the game. So hopefully, if you're careful and you look at where the fire is, you're not going to spontaneously combust as much going forward. There's a couple other things in the post too from Part Welsh, the community manager, but for now the only other thing that's really interested me and you guys might care about is the fact that you can now take your weapon skins into Firestorm, because it just didn't have weapon skins and it doesn't make sense in a game that has this armory and all these different cosmetic options, and that's the thing that they're trying to sell you ultimately, that you couldn't use them in Firestorm. Well, now you can. So if you've got a favourite skin on the Bren, let's say, or your favourite MP40 skin, if you've got it equipped, then you can use it in Firestorm if you find that weapon. So overall, there's a couple of cool changes there coming to the patch next week. I like that. I'm sure we'll get a massive load of patch notes next week to take a look at if we want, but that's just a little summary for you guys. Now, moving back to Operation Metro Remaster, Operation Underground. So as I said, I played it at EA Play. Obviously, I've just been showing you gameplay from Al Sundan and Marita here. I wasn't allowed to record. The map wasn't finished. There were some grey box areas, some assets that hadn't been finished or added, so it was definitely work in progress. But in general, here we go. So it's 3 flags, A, B and C. The B flag is the centre of the underground portion, where you've got all the different lanes and all the trains in the metro. And the A and C flags are both outside. Now the C flag is kind of this government building, I guess. You can go inside it, but you can't go upstairs. It does have multiple levels, but the stairs are blocked off at the moment by a load of rubble furniture that they've stuck downstairs. But it's quite a big building and you've got the ground floor to fight over if you want. And then the A point is just kind of out on the street, and there's some trams around, there's some houses. They look a lot like the ones from Rotterdam, but I think that's all going to change, like the art. Hopefully they don't just reuse all the assets from Rotterdam. So it's a very simple design, very linear. It feels very much like the original Metro, but when you actually go down underground, you can't go on top, unfortunately. I tried, but it's still blocked off. But when you go underground into the metro area, it's a lot wider than the original version. There's a lot more flanking routes. You've got wider areas where there were like bunk beds, kitchens, locker areas, that kind of thing. So there's a lot more flanking routes there, really. It's very busy on the flanking areas too. There's not much open space there. Also, what's really interesting is at times there are areas of water, and you can actually dive underneath the water in certain sections to flank. So it's a full underwater section where you dive down, you prone, go all the way under, and it's a bit maze-like. At points you have to come up for air if you need to, so there's a couple of pockets of air that you can use if you think you're going to drown down there. But for the most part, it's just really interesting to have these different sections of the map where you can dive under, and I don't think we've ever really seen that in a urban style interior battlefield area before. Kind of reminded me of that BF4 single player level where you're in the aircraft carrier and there's that bit where you've got to dive underneath the water. But that was cool, and you've got lots of water tanks that are flooding. I'm not sure if there's some kind of Levolution or something revolving around these. I did ask a couple of DICE employees about it, but they were quite coy and didn't want to spoil anything, so there might be something going on with the water. Maybe you could flood the whole thing if you destroy a certain amount of water tanks. I'm just guessing that, making that up completely. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but it felt like something, there was some kind of mechanic there perhaps with the water tanks. Whether that's a Easter egg or just a simple Levolution, I don't know. So the B flag, the underground metro area, it felt very much like the original metro map, just got a bit crazy at times, chaotic. There was a lot of things that people could rest MMGs on, so I'm a bit worried really that that's just going to be the meta of this map. Hold an angle, MMG, waste everyone. We'll see. But at the same time, what I really liked about the underground metro section was that the elevated areas now have openings or windows in them, so you can go up the stairs, like the side stairs, the middle area where the ticket booth is, and it's all opened up now. So you can get to that position and actually look down into the metro area. So if people are just proning and using boxes and cover to MMG, that's a good angle that you can use to take them out. So yeah, it was mainly just me exploring the level and trying to get a feel for it. The biggest thing that I took away from it really was that it was just so much wider and there was so much more flanking routes, which I really enjoyed, to be honest. I think it's definitely going to be played a lot when it comes to BF5. It'll be a fan favourite for sure, just like it was back in BF3 and of course the remake in BF4. It was cool, I enjoyed it. Nice mix of Fort Vaux and Operation Metro, I would say. I'm just gutted that you can't go on street level above that middle B point, because that's something that I always wanted, but there's obviously a good reason for that. at the end of the day, the level designers are the people that make the maps, so that's up to them. With that said, I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, a dislike. Subscribe for more, hit that bell, and I'll see you in the next one.